Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the October 17th, 2011 City Council meeting. Could we please, roll call, please?
Alderman Rivera.
Present.
Alderman Cunningham.
Yeah.
Alderman Conkin.
Present. Alderman
Moiseo.
Here.
Alderman Beedling. Here. Alderman Newsom.
Present.
Alderman Tempest.
Present.
Alderman May.
Present.
Alderman Belko.
We have a quorum. Tonight we will have an executive session that will come after the alderman's comments. So as we've said in the past, for all extents and purposes, the meeting will be over after their comments, and we will come back out of exec and just adjourn the meeting. Could we please have everybody rise for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, it's a fairly compact agenda tonight. I do have some comments I'd like to make. It's a couple of pages, but I think it's important. I just want my thanks to go out to the hundreds of volunteers. I need to leave these off, but I didn't print this type big enough. Otherwise, it'd be one letter per page. My thanks go out to the hundreds of volunteers who showed up in Waukegan on Saturday to take part in Paint the Town, the Waukegan edition. Radio personality Delilah, who was heard regionally on WLIT-FM, was generous enough to offer the opportunity to Waukegan to participate in her yearly event. With material provided by sponsor Home Depot and sweat equity provided by Waukegan residents and hundreds of our neighbors, our downtown got a whole new look. I also want to thank her advance troops that helped to set this whole project up and to bring together so many people into our community. Those include Jeff Payne, the project coordinator, Craig Kitchen, Delilah's agent, and Nicole Raven, the event producer. Also, our own David Motley and Main Street's Violet Rickard put in a huge number of hours and operated on little or no sleep for several days leading up to the event. 2 walls were chosen as locations for murals as well, and I want to thank all of the artists involved in that portion of the project. Oh, I'm sorry. Did anybody hear what I said at all?
Yeah.
You did. Did the camera get any of this? Okay. Well, I'll dub it in later. Involved in that portion of the project. And we are going to ask the artists to come in at possibly our next city council meeting or the one following that, so you can meet them and we can explain to you, kind of break down the iconography that was involved in these murals and what they all mean. But they were fantastic. You know, it was all week people driving by through downtown, stopping and looking at the work that was being done, getting out of their cars, staring at the quality of the drawing and the painting, and it was really fantastic. And lastly, the old Lakeview restaurant sign at Fong's Restaurant was refurbished and relit on Saturday night and now acts as a beacon for people all up and down Genesee Street. The energy of Paint the Town continued through the evening with another successful art walk with some really energetic rock bands and more creative efforts by the wide array of artists showing at Dandelion and Skid Pup Galleries, Dinosaur Studio, and Lakeshore Designs. I know that some are wondering what this is all about. Why are we spending so much time building up this artistic and creative aspect of our downtown? Because that is what attracts people to a community. At every development conference I go to, the message is simple and similar. Without a cultural underpinning, a city cannot survive. Sure, businesses may want to locate in your town for a wide array of reasons, including logistics, incentives, and workforce quality in the region. But the owners and the people working there won't want to live in our town unless we develop a culturally based quality of life. A place where they can enjoy stimulating and even at times controversial cultural events will win out over driving distance to the place of work every time. A place where they know that their families will be exposed to different cultural stimuli will always ensure they will be better students and more productive adults. What we are doing today will lead to a better Waukegan with a brighter future for everyone. Thank you. Now, under audience time, we have 3 people that have signed up to speak. The first is Mr. Wayne Munn. Wayne? Will you be able to squeeze in there between the screen and the podium?
Barely.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor. Wayne Munn, 1517 North Jackson Street. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak to you and to the people who are at the meeting tonight, at the council meeting tonight. My name again is Wayne Munn. I chair the Historic Preservation Commission in the city of Waukegan, and I am here tonight on behalf of that commission asking both the people who are here and all of the aldermen. We need recommendations for new commissioners. We have a vacancy right now on the commission that we've been going through a list trying to fill and come up with candidates. As you know, everybody today is doing like 2.5 jobs, whether they're getting paid or not. So it's very hard to get commissioners. So I would ask all of the aldermen to think of potential candidates, and I'll go into that in just a second, and submit them to the commission. We will get information out to any candidates. I also brought a blank form that I'm going to leave in the back of the room. Anybody who is interested either for themselves or for somebody that they might know, please feel free to put your name down on here, an email possible, address, phone, whatever. People who are on the commission do have to be residents of the city of Waukegan. So we will get information for you to understand what's involved in being a member of the commission. But we want to build up a candidate pool so we have more commissioners to bring on board so that we can get them into the commission. Now, the Historic Preservation Commission is a body under the city of Waukegan, and what we do is enforce something called the Historic Preservation Ordinance. The Historic Preservation Ordinance is indeed law. We operate under that law to make sure that the city and the residents are in compliance. Basically, what it does is it makes certain that our historic architecture and housing in this city is maintained. Now, we have no enforcement authority. What the Historic Preservation Commission does is evaluate properties once they're nominated to us on the basis of 7 criteria which are written into the law. And based on that, we have discussions. We will then hold a public hearing, and then it's brought before the judiciary, and then it's brought before the full council for you to make the final decision. So our recommendation is purely based on the actual tangible 7 criteria for is a building historically relevant. And also, just so you know, that where we fit in, we don't care what happens to the interior of the building. The interest as built into the Historic Preservation Ordinance is based on the exterior facade, the grounds, the buildings, the things like that. If you think of it, it's the kind of thing that adds beauty and history to a town. So we have an ordinance that we operate under. We meet monthly. We have some interesting things going on, but I would ask you to bring forth more people from the community that you can recommend, names that you might have. Be in touch with me. Everybody here, I think, has my information. You know where I live. I'd love to work with you and get some more candidates so we can bring them in and do some effective recruiting for the commission. So do you have any questions? Yes, Larry.
Could you name the ones that are on the board now?
Oh, great.
I think we
I could before I had more gray hair. No. In addition, Ty Rohrer is our vice chairman. He's also with the Historical Society. Linda McCullough is our secretary. Peter Bullock, who is an he's an archaeologist and was involved actually with historic preservation, as was his wife in New Mexico and Arizona and a variety of states. So great to have them. Michael Hoff and Stuart Stefani. So that's who's on the commission there.
you better get Carrie Kame on that board.
Harry Kane was on the board
Yeah,
for quite some time.
quite a,
And I had it, yes, no, he is now kind of like backroom, you know, the folks who do tons of work and they don't get the credit for it, they don't get their name on. So yes, Harry has been very involved, as has everybody on the Waukegan Historical Society board. Even people from Main Street have been helping. So we have good people involved. We actually need the commissioners on the commission so we can do the things we're supposed to do.
How many spots do you have to fill?
One right now.
Okay.
But we want to build, I mean, the way I do things, I want to build a pool so we have more names in the queue and we can work with them and get them up to speed so this whole process can operate more quickly in the future.
Alderman Tempest?
yeah.
Yes.
Another question. Were you considering expanding your board, or you just want more in the sidelines ready to jump in to help?
The commission is defined by the ordinance.
Okay.
I believe the number of members of the commission. And of course, every meeting that we have, the next one is October 27th in the chambers here at beginning at 6:30 p.m. But anybody is more than welcome to attend those and see what happens and get excited about it.
Thank you, Wayne.
Okay. So if I can, I'll leave this in the back. And if somebody can deliver it to planning and zoning tomorrow,
Okay.
okay.
We'll
I
get it
appreciate
over there.
that. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Actually, you know, I'm glad he brought this up because this is something we have been meaning to do. Unfortunately, you know how things sort of fall behind you on these little smaller tasks, although they're not that small. We do need to get out to the New Sun a press release that is listing the commission and committee positions that we have vacant so that we can get some of these filled. We've had a few people that are, well, one person resigned from the Development Commission and we need a replacement, plus I believe there's an open slot. And so we are, Dave and I will work on that when over the next few days, and then, you know, have Noel kind of put the final touches on it. We'll get that out to the press right away. Next up is Diane Verratti.
Diane Verratti, 2597 Club Home Lane in Waukegan. I wasn't going to stand up here and say anything tonight, but then on the way down, I drove down Genesee Street. I am so emotional after this weekend, I have to tell you. As somebody who's been involved in the revitalization of our downtown for more than a dozen years, I stood in the lobby of the Genesee Theater Saturday evening after a concert, and I thought back just a few years ago to when that building was dark, cold, filthy, smelly, and beyond hope. That was just a few years ago. And today, or this weekend actually, Ramsey Lewis came and played on the stage of the Genesee Theater. It was an awesome evening. It was wonderful. And from the lobby, I could look south and I could see that iconic sign that the mayor mentioned, the restaurant sign, which had just been switched on at 7 o'clock that evening. And as you said, Mayor, it is a beacon. Everybody can see it. You can see it from the Genesee. And then I thought about the people who were still down at the south end of Genesee as I stood there in the lobby for the art walk. Hundreds of people were there. And I thought back to those few years ago when on a Saturday night, you wouldn't have found 5 people standing outside on South Genesee Street in Waukegan. There is so much happening today. And I'm so thankful to Delilah, whom I must admit I had never heard of until she came to Waukegan. But now 93.9 is on my radio in the car, and I listen all the time. Obviously, that's why they come and do things like this. Delilah is a nationally known radio personality. She and her team came to Waukegan. ArtSpace, internationally known developer of residences for artists. They're coming to Waukegan. And I just have to say that it's about time for all of us, led by you, Mayor Sabanjian, because your heart for our city, and particularly our downtown, is so consistent and so genuine. You get what we're doing. It's time for the rest of us in this community to stop putting ourselves down. It's time for us to stop expecting nothing from ourselves, nothing from anybody else. It's time for us to realize that this is our time. Things are happening here. And I cannot tell you what an emotional experience this weekend was to work with all those hundreds of people, to enjoy doing something. Lisa May's parents, how old? They're older than I am. Those guys worked all day with you. I'm telling you, we had kids working. We had people from outside of Waukegan. This is an awesome, awesome time. And I just want to thank you, particularly Mayor Sabanjan, for your leadership and for your commitment to this project. I've been saying this for years, and I want to be still alive. I want to still be here when this thing all comes together. I wish Jim Harrington were still alive to see those murals. I wish he knew what he started so many years ago with the books and the park and the art bus and all those things. And I think of those people who gave so much, who had such a great vision for all those years. And I'm thankful for every single one of them. So thank you as well.
Thank you, Diane. Well put. Mr. Chris Blanks.
Brother Blanks, 409 Oak Street, Waukegan. Myself as an artist, you know, it's always good to see good things going on downtown as far as with the Art Walk, Genesee Theater, and the Art Space Project. And so it's good to see the stimulation in the city. And it's a good symbolic gesture. So I can appreciate those things as an artist. However, that's good in symbolism, but if the very substance of the city and the foundation of the city is based on some of the issues that I have been bringing forth with the hypocritical and unfair enforcement of the law, as to where many of your citizens are treated unfairly, then it's not going to be a good balance. So just as we work on beautifying the city in symbolism, we really have to genuinely and sincerely work on eradicating some of these issues of what I have been bringing forth here of hypocritical and unfair enforcement of the law. I don't like coming here, you know, every week talking about these issues like this. I mean, I see the city is trying to move towards good and positive things. I like to come forth up here on occasions and talking about some good positive things like what is going on in the city. But when we deal with issues like the gun ordinance, as to where on one hand you say, well, this is something that should be regulated by the state, and I heard that made by the senior alderman that, you know, the gun ordinance, let's throw it back and let's give it to the state to regulate. But however, on the other hand, when it comes to issues regarding the $500 impoundment, which is also something that is regulated and the license is issued by the state, on one hand you say, no, let's keep that, let us regulate that, allow us to enforce that, it's revenue. And when you got officers who abuse their privileges and decide they're going to tow cars based on their own personal vendettas, that add insult to injury. So I would like to say, you know, to the city that if you want to keep down having to go into litigations, executive sessions based on litigations, and if you're looking for citizens to be fair, as far as one of the things that I brought up last city council meetings is that, you know, if you have someone who have filed a suit against the city based on hypocritical, unfair enforcement of the law, then it's very difficult for them to even consider settling when the very basis of the issues of what they went to court on is still in existence. And so I say that to say that sometime maybe a person will set this financial bar high enough that maybe the city don't, you know, so the city don't want to settle. Because actually what they really might want to do is take the issues before the courts, have their day in court before the jury and say none of the things in which we filed a suit on has ended. So people want to see the city move forward. Nobody want to hurt the city with frivolous financial lawsuits, but we can't have beauty and symbolism, but at the very substance and the foundation is rotten with this unfair treatment of your citizens. So I come here today to plead and to say to you all that what is going on with the beauty of the city and symbolism, let's make the very foundation of it as beautiful with the substance of fair treatment and fairness for the citizens for all the citizens of the city. So we can all move forward together and feel a part of this city and feel a part of the revitalization and the beauty of it. So we don't want the have-nots feeling like they can't be a part of having what this city is, rejuvenating on. So that is my challenge to the city. And so hopefully I'm being heard here today, and hopefully that the whole city can move forward and feel the rejuvenation of what is going on in the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. That concludes our public comment for the evening. Thank you, everybody, for your comments. Well put. I know they're heartfelt, and we do hear. We do our best to try to respond. It's not always easy or possible to do it right away. It takes time sometimes, but we do listen. Over the last few months, I've been trying to invite more and more community organizations to come and speak before you to talk about their mission in our community and around us. And tonight, I understand that Alderman Lisa May, if I remember correctly, invited Jennifer Yonan to come and represent United Way. And I do want to say real quick that United Way was very instrumental in helping us bring a number of people to paint the town. And I want to thank you for that in front of everybody. You deserve our gratitude for the efforts that you put into that and the fact that you were down there all day, just like everybody else, and it was a lot of fun. So Jennifer is going to make, I'm sorry, did I miss something? Oh, I apologize. If you just wait a moment, I missed the minutes. Thank you, Alderman Newsom. I'll take a motion to approve the minutes by Alderman Newsom, seconded by Alderman Valco.
Mayor?
Yes.
I'd like to make a correction on the minutes.
Yes.
I did not lead the council in prayer, and it says so on the minutes.
She did not.
I did not lead the council in prayer, as it says on the minutes. I held a moment of silence. In the minutes, it says I led the council in
I
prayer.
corrected it. I took that off of there.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, it was corrected. That was my mistake.
Okay.
It's corrected on my downstairs.
So our final copies are okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. Well, as I said, we have the motion to accept the minutes, and all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thanks for pointing that out, Alderman Newsom. I just keep admitting, my vision is getting really bad close up, and eventually it is going to be one letter per page, so it's going to take me longer to read through this stuff because it's just getting harder and harder to see it. But I apologize for that. Now we can move on to the presentation from United Way. And again, Alderman May, thank you very much for inviting Jennifer to come. She was on our list. We would have gotten there eventually. And so again, here we are. We're ready to go. Thanks.
Is that a good thing that I'm on your list or not a good thing? I'm not sure.
It's a good thing.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Alderman, for having me here this evening. I think it's really important that you hear about some of the great work that United Way is doing, not only throughout Lake County, but especially here in Waukegan. A lot of our work really stems from everything that we've invested here in Waukegan. So just for a few minutes, I'd like to take a step back. About 10 years ago, United Way of Lake County conducted a community assessment to look at the issues that were facing families and individuals and what was preventing people from being successful in their lives. And that list today probably still exists, and any one of us in this room can talk about what would be on that list. What is preventing people from being successful? But when we really looked at it and we said, how do we get to the root cause of why these people, why there are problems, why these issues exist, we looked and we saw a common thread. And this is education. The common thread is education, and we have to invest early, and we have to invest throughout the educational process in order to make a difference. So today I stand before you to tell you that United Way of Lake County is preparing our children to succeed in a changing world by focusing on education and building safe and stable families. We work with nonprofit agencies and community partners, and we've identified 4 programs that prepare children to succeed. These programs focus on the critical milestones during the educational process. The first program is Success by 6, which prepares children to succeed in kindergarten. getting them the skills that they need to get started on the right path, be ready for school, knowing their alphabet, knowing how to count 10 objects, knowing how to write their own name on the first day of school, knowing the basic shapes and the basic colors. Those core skills are really critical because as you don't have those in the beginning of school, you're going to be farther and farther behind as you continue throughout your education. The second program, which started 2 years ago, is our Reading Success Program. And this really focuses on a really critical stage, which is reading at grade level by the end of 3rd grade. Reading at grade level at this point in your life is so critical that many communities actually use 3rd grade reading levels to predict high school graduation rates and prison population. It's very critical. We've got volunteers, readers, tutors in 5 elementary schools here in Waukegan that come out and read to these children and tutor them one-on-one to ensure that they will be reading at grade level by the end of 3rd grade. Our Stay in School program, which launched last year, is all about improving grades and attendance and hoping to get these kids to graduate successfully on time. And a big key part of that is parent engagement. One of the initiatives under our Stay in School program is called the Computer Learn and Earn program, where parents of high school students come to 3 sessions and are trained how to use technology and computers to access the internet, to access the school's internet-based program that monitors grades and attendance so that they can support and help their student, and also learning what they can do as parents to support their child's education throughout those 4 critical years in high school. Our Computer Earn and Learn program today has given away 120 refurbished computers to families here in Waukegan. And we are very happy to announce that our new partnership with Comcast is allowing the digital divide to be lessened through their Computer Internet Essentials program that allows low-income families in Waukegan to access internet for less than $10 a month. So any child in the Waukegan Public School program that is on the free or reduced lunch program, their family is eligible for this program. So please, if you know families that need internet access and affordable internet access, please let them know about the Comcast Internet Essentials program. We recognize also that safe and stable families are really the foundation of a child's success. Our programs are focused on serving children and families and helping them achieve self-sufficiency, which is vital to developing a healthy community. By giving children a solid educational foundation and focusing on preventive programs, we're growing a stronger community. And here in Waukegan, I'm very pleased to talk to you now about some of the projects that we have going in Waukegan. Our mission, as David mentioned, I think it's the next slide, is to unite leadership and resources to create lasting change that will improve lives in Lake County. Our role in that as United Way is really as a collaborator and a convener, bringing parties together to make this improvement in Lake County. We are very active in Waukegan. All of our programs have been piloted in Waukegan. We have an excellent working relationship with Waukegan School District 60. They've been willing partners, and that's why we've been so successful with the results we've achieved. I won't go into a lot of detail about our programs, but what I want to talk about is bringing the community together, similar to what we did with Paint the Town, bringing volunteers out to get engaged in the community and make improvements and do community revitalization. We've done a number of projects here in Waukegan. In just the last year, there were 20 projects. Some of them are highlighted in the slides behind me. This represents 856 volunteers, over 2,500 volunteer hours, which has a total value back to Waukegan of over $55,000 just in this past year through volunteer projects. Tomorrow, I'm really excited to tell you, and Alderman Newsom will be joining us at Clearview Elementary School with the Chicago Bears rookie staff, and they will be building a Chicago Bears fitness zone, which will include a universally accessible playground for the students at Clearview Elementary. Clearview is the largest elementary school in the district, and it has the largest number of special needs and disabled students. Those students in the school at this time are not able to access the playground that currently exists due to some grade problems over on the site. We will be building a universally accessible playground, and the build date will be this Saturday. October 22nd. We have 2 shifts. If anybody is interested in coming out and helping us build a playground at Clearview Elementary, we would love to have you. We're very excited. Tomorrow will be our groundbreaking ceremony with an event called the Hometown Huddle, and we will be kicking this wonderful project off at Clearview Elementary tomorrow. I just wanted to bring these few projects to your attention because United Way is working very hard throughout Lake County, but especially is invested in Waukegan. And it is vitally critical to this community, and we know that, and our commitment is here to continue to support the needs in Lake County and especially in Waukegan. I want to end by just illustrating some of the very sad statistics that do exist in our community, right here in our own backyard, and why United Way is working on this project. So David, if you'll roll the short video clip, and we'll finish up.
Thank you, Jennifer. I think we'd all be well advised to remember that children at that stage in their life don't get to make decisions. They have decisions made for them. And if those decisions are wrong, they suffer the consequences. Thank you very much for what you've done. That's okay. I'm not going to repeat it again. But thank you. Thank you. Yes?
What time is the October 22nd start?
8 a.m. There's an 8 a.m. to noon shift and a noon to 4.
Sounds like fun. Let's all try to be there. It's worth it. You know? Okay. Thank you very much. That was a great presentation. And again, Lisa, thank you for helping coordinate that. We appreciate that. Now we will move on to committee reports and motions. The first committee that we have before us this evening is Public Works Committee. Alderman Moisio.
We have one item, item A, grant permission to bid repairs for the sludge building at the water.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that again?
Hold on, let me get that.
Oh. I couldn't hear it. I heard it speak. Is he going to repeat that? He's going to do it again?
He's got the motion.
Oh,
He's gotta
okay.
get the motion.
Hold tight just a moment, please. Bear with us. I think you need to get a couple of pieces of paper.
It's just a motion to go out to bid. Go ahead and vote.
Okay. You have the motion?
I don't have the actual motion.
Okay. Well, that's okay. We can
It's
take
just a
it as
motion.
presented.
It's just to go out to bid. There's no money being spent. It's just a motion to go out to bid. So I'll make that motion.
We have the motion by Alderman Moiseo, seconded by Alderman Beedling. Roll call on that, please.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Aye.
Alderman Conken. Alderman Moiseo. Alderman Beedling. Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest. Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you. And just so everybody remembers, this was the building that was damaged during the storms. It had a considerable amount of roof damage that was peeled back, so it has to be done. Next before us is Insurance Committee report. Alderman Cunningham.
The Insurance Committee had one item, Your Honor, and I know I have mine in front of me, and that was just to approve the property and casualty insurance and risk management services renewal for the period of November 1, 2011 through October 31st, 2012 as presented, and I so move.
We have the motion by Alderman Cunningham, seconded by Alderman Valco. Roll call, please.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Aye.
Alderman Conken. Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Beedling. Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest. Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you. That concludes insurance for the evening. Okay, next we have Economic Development. Alderman Rivera, please.
The Economic Development Committee meeting met this evening at approximately 6 p.m. this evening, and other than the item, the approval of the Genesee Theater budget for a current fiscal year, that's still held over. There was also a presentation given by Woodland Foods, and there was another presentation that was given before, but we know how important this project is to the committee and to the city and to the council here, and how important it is to get this this agreement, TIF agreement, to come together. Hopefully in the next couple of days. I know we I think we've already sent them an agreement. We're waiting for their response. But we know how important it is, because other developers and real estate companies, they're all watching how we will come together on this agreement. So it's very important that we get this agreement done. So, and that was it. That presentation was given.
Thank you, Alderman. And we are working on it. It's something that's been on, it's not on a back burner at all. We're still continuing to work and try to figure out a way to make it happen. I think the agreement that we've put forward is a good one. It's fair. It offers them a good amount of money. It preserves some of the TIF increment for future companies coming in, and it also is an incentivization to hire Waukegan people to work for them.
And another question that came up was as far as our policy, we need to set forth a policy in regards to TIF too as well. So
we do, and that's been a conversation ongoing since this all began about taking increment that's not part of your PIN number.
Correct.
And how that should work, and we are working on a policy which we should have to you, I would say, within the next 30 days or so. So that hopefully for your consideration then to see where you'd like to move it forward. But we do have to establish that, because without that, that leaves us open.
absolutely.
So thank you, Alderman.
Thank you, and that is all.
Absolutely. We have no old business before us this evening. Under reports and communications, we have item A, which is the required reporting to the municipality by the Police Pension Board as of April 30th, 2011. Do we have someone here to make that presentation?
All those are placed on file with Cindy T. Campy in the Treasurer's Office, both
Okay.
the police and fire pensions, and they've been posted for the past 2 weeks at City Hall.
We need a voice vote to accept them. Yeah, to receive them. So I'll take a motion by Alderman Conken, seconded by Alderman Tempest, to accept item A, the report as provided. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. Item B, which is basically the same thing, required reporting to the municipality by the Fire Pension Board as of April 30th in 2011, and that has been posted with the Treasurer's Office as well. I'll take again the motion by Alderman Conken, seconded by Alderman Moisio, to accept the report as provided. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Under new business and recommended actions by Corporation Council, item A is the approval of payroll dated October 5th, 2011 in the amount of $1,244,225.61. Motion by Alderman Newsom, seconded by Alderman Moisio. Roll call, please.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Aye.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moisio.
Aye.
Alderman Beedling.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you. Item B, approval of bills dated October 17th, 2011 in the amount of $1,571,217.95. So take a motion by Alderman Newsom, seconded by Alderman Cunningham. Roll call, please.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Aye.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moisio.
Aye.
Alderman Beedling. Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you. Item C, we'll make a motion to accept the Treasurer's report from the month of September 2011. Take a motion by Alderman Newsom, seconded by Alderman Beedling. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Item D, authorize the proper city official to sign all appropriate paperwork necessary to allow the U.S. EPA to repair the seawall, to allow a windfall lien to be placed on the former coke plant property, and to utilize the Waukegan Manufactured Gas and Coke Plant Site Soils Operation and Maintenance Trust Fund escrow to account for at least 10% of the local match. We'll take the motion by Alderman Moisio, seconded by Alderman Cunningham. Roll call, please.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Aye.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moisio.
Aye.
Alderman Beedling. Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you. Item E, approving a resolution authorizing the sale of property by the City of Waukegan pursuant to the Neighborhood Stabilization Program, including 923 New York Street. Take a motion by Alderman Newsom, seconded by Alderman Conken. Roll call, please.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Aye.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moisio.
Aye.
Alderman Beedling. Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you. Under ordinances and resolutions, item A, ordinance to reflect the restricting of parking on both sides of Orchard Avenue south of Washington Street. Whose ward is this
That's
in?
my ward, Your Honor, and it's not both sides. It's both sides up to a certain feet.
100 feet or 190 feet?
Yeah, it's like 100 feet on one side and
Both
150
sides.
feet on the other
It'll
side.
be on the actual resolution.
Okay, it's on
I
the
just
actual
want to make
resolution.
sure
It'll be on the resolution.
that everybody sees that.
Okay, are we comfortable with his verbal?
And it's working,
Okay.
believe me.
Good. Well, we'll take the motion then by Alderman Rivera, seconded by Alderman Conken. Roll call, please.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham. Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Beedling. Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you. Now we will go to Alderman's time, and as I said earlier, following Alderman's time, we will go into executive session. The reason we're going to executive session is for discuss pending litigation and settlement of claims. So, Mr. Clerk, Alderman's time, please.
Alderman Rivera.
Thank you. Today in the news, I heard something interesting in regards to the casino bill. And that's Legislative Bill 744 that Governor Quinn has had on his desk for a while, which I believe he's not going to sign because of all the discrepancies in there. It's a very complicated bill, but he did entertain that he would consider a casino to Chicago, and not only to Chicago, but to Lake County as well. And here in Lake County, that the Gaming Commission would decide on where this casino would go here in Lake County. Now, I know we've been down this road before, and I know that I'm hoping that we never burn that bridge down, that we have an opportunity to cross that bridge. And if this bill is a bill that's respectable and that it will meet the needs of this, not only this community, but for the state, I think that we should get back into this game. I think it would be, we owe it to our community. It's a tremendous revenue generator. I respect your comments on this, Mayor. I know how you feel. But if there's an opportunity to get back into this situation that may present to us again, I surely would recommend and would ask if the alderman would support it, if the mayor would support it with your leadership. I think this could be something that's very doable if the new bill comes with the language that we're looking for. That is all I have to say. And also, I do have a ward meeting, just to let everybody know. It's coming up this Wednesday over at the Waukegan Park Place, starting at about 6 o'clock until 8. Hopefully, I'd like to see everyone there. So, thank you. That is all I have to say, Mayor.
Alderman Cunningham.
There's two items. One, I want to thank the young lady from United Way for a great presentation. But I also want to take a step further. The short video that she was able to play really depicts some of the things I've been witnessing over the last 3 years as a part-time worker in the Lake County Jail and the service department, and that my particular function is to, as young men and ladies come into the jail, my primary function is to get them enrolled and to get in their GEDs. My surprise, and I think as many people are surprised, I was under the illusion that those who commit crimes are just bad people, just didn't care about anything. Just a host of other negative things going through my mind. But as I kind of just went through and really observed, her video depicts the net result of our young men and young ladies not getting a quality education. The net result of them is county jail. The net result is where it failed, and that result is for them is just a downward spiral. So I'm sorry that she left, but I really appreciate and I understand what the United Ways and other organizations that are out there are going through. Now, I'm not dismissing the fact that people commit crimes. Make no mistake about it. But what I am saying is there's a social component that brings our young men and our young ladies to commit these crimes, and sometimes they have no other resources, no other alternative. It is unfortunate, but it's a reality that we must live with, and I think we as leaders and as people in this community we all have a part to play. All have a part to play in making sure we get as many young people, particularly that elementary school level. Because once they get to middle school, if they don't have it, they will not get it. It's just, statistics just don't lie. And I see it every day. It is just heartbreaking to see those young faces come in with those type of charges and those type of problems that exist in their homes. I never imagined that, but understanding it, I'm a better leader today because of that. And the appreciation that the United Ways and the other organizations that play a vital role in making sure that we try to decrease the number of young men and young ladies that come in through our county jails, that go through homelessness and a host of other negative things that our society has. But please, parents, friends, those who are responsible for these young men and young ladies, get them into school. That is the only way. I want to be very clear, the only way that you can get rid of this monster that exists in our society. Second, this council voted against something that I knew was not going to work. This council voted to bring something that I knew as the alderman of the ward. And I shouldn't say this council, let me take that back. There were members of the council who voted to support this garden thing on the corner of Sheridan Road and Belvedere. Now, I don't know if anybody else have been by there. And if you have, you should say the same thing I'm saying today. That is a mess. It's a mess. There is not a person up here would ever have that next to their house on the face of this earth. If you live next to that, you will be sitting down here calling every day, talking to the mayor, talking to the alderman, talking to Public Works, talking to building commissioner. That is a mess. And I told you it was going to be a mess. Now here we is at the brink of winter, and you're dumping more mess in my house. Because you don't live by there. That's why. You don't live there. You don't have to see it. You don't have to smell it. And I begged you. Matter of fact, there was another proposal. Put a flower bed there. No, we got to do it right now. If we don't do it right now, it ain't going to happen. It ain't happening today. But who has to answer the calls? It's not nobody. It's not the person that said yes. It's the alderman that had to answer the calls. And I have to justify why we're doing it. Now, I'm telling you today, that is going to get removed tomorrow. It is a mess, Mayor. It is junk. It is on a beltway of the city of Waukegan where people ride up and down every day and see that garbage. It's not bringing in no jobs. It's not beautifying our city. It's doing nothing but that. There's not an alderman up here would have it in their ward. And you can't tell me they would. But it's all right to dump it on the south side. I'm done with it. I'm hoping that Tom Haggerty, the same people that put it there, remove it. Put it where you want it at, but don't put it by my house. Put it by yours. Thank you.
Alderman Conken.
Thank you. I'm afraid I have to agree with Alderman Cunningham in his last statements. That is a corridor down to the downtown area of Waukegan on a major artery, and I don't believe that it turned out to be the showpiece that it was purported to be. And whatever happens, I'm sorry, but I have to agree with the Alderman of the ward. That set aside, I'd like to comment on Ms. Varadi's comments that she made today about her being, Genesee Street being a dark area a couple of years back and something that was a little disappointing. And that all of a sudden it looked great. Well, there's an old saying. It says, keep kicking the dark until it bleeds light. And all the people that worked on the Main Street and all the people that have been working for all these years to help beautify the city, and then obviously with the help of Delilah, the kicking is working. They're kicking and kicking, and all of a sudden it's bleeding light. And things are looking a lot better down there. And we have to thank all the volunteers that showed up down there all day Saturday. It was a great job. It was a great time. It was a great day, actually. I thought it was a little chilly in the morning, but it turned out to be okay. And downtown has a great facelift. And keep kicking. Thank you.
Alderman Moiseo.
Yeah, I'll be the first to apologize to Alderman Cunningham. Like so many things, I think good idea, poor execution. I've been down there. It didn't come to fruition. It needs to be taken out. It's a catastrophe. It looks like a dumping ground. So that does need to be taken care of. Second, gambling. Boy, how that just keeps coming back up. If this council is still in support of it, gambling, then we need to do it the right way, not the way it's been done the last couple of times. It needs to be done the right way, out and open, go off RFPs on who wants to be the gambling operator and all of that. Because if we don't think the Illinois Gaming Board is not going to go through all of this with a fine-tooth comb, we're nuts. We're nuts. I mean, that's the reason the governor threw this back. This bill smelled like you can't believe. I mean, anybody thought that anybody would vote for it's got to be nuts. It smelled. That's why he's sending it back. It smelled of politics like nothing I've ever read before. So if we're going to support gambling and get back into it, which if you look on it, we have a site that's shovel ready. And if the state is hard up for revenue, we could have it up and running if this council, that's what they want. But we got to do it the right way and out in the open and do it so that if we have a shot, it doesn't come up later that the city of Waukegan got denied because they had shady characters involved. That's the last thing we need. This is also a great presentation by United Way. Alderman Cunningham's comments are right on. But that's not just a school district issue. I think it needs to be a whole community issue. And I'm glad that they've identified these things, the Success by 6, reading success program, and stay in school. We have to all try to do that and all try to help out the children of Waukegan. I'm just like Alderman Cunningham. I see it all the time. Part of the problem is I see it when it's too late. These kids don't have a chance. They've already, in a way, molded their future, and it's sad. It's very sad. And a lot of them, as you can see, when you get to know them, that's not really what they want, but they don't know any other way to go. So, thank you.
Alderman Beedling.
I voted for the garden there, and the only reason I voted for the garden is because those garden club people scare the heck out of me. I would like to thank the volunteers that showed up for Paint the Town. A lot of people put in a lot of hours there. They work very hard at it. It does look a lot nicer down there. I'm not able to paint. I picked up trash for about 3.5 hours, but I met a few nice people down there, and it was a very nice event. Thank you.
Alderman Newsom.
I guess I'm echoing everybody else here tonight. Paint the Town. I did have an opportunity to go down Saturday morning and see all the volunteers. It was wonderful. And then later in the evening, when they were getting the bands set up, had an opportunity to go through and see on foot some of the businesses that I didn't even know were down there on the south side of Genesee Street. So needless to say, I will be going back to visit some of those businesses and telling other people that I know to stop in and take advantage of what we have here in Waukegan that are hidden treasures. So good job, Waukegan. And I think we were deserving of Paint the Town. There's a lot of people that care a lot about Waukegan, and it says a lot about us, that we care a lot about where we live. So I thank all the volunteers for coming out. That's all.
Alderman Tempest?
Yes, thank you. I have some concerns about our being more proactive on our vacant houses. I see no reason why a house should sit for over a year without code not taking any action on that house. The backyard, a complete dump, nothing done. The alderman's requested it twice now for something to be done. It's not acceptable. Front yard hasn't been cut for a year. I cut it last year. We need to be more proactive on our vacant houses and making sure that the banks are maintaining them. The other thing, I speak on the community garden. I voted no. I voted no because of the location. The concept is very, very good. The concept is wonderful. It really is. The location was bad. The condition of the soil underneath it was a parking lot before. They started out too many obstacles to overcome. Volunteers are hard to get and something like that. The location where they're going to rent gardens out, there we need to do it's a gateway down into the yacht club. It needs to be look nice that we do up on Grand Avenue, as I spoke before. Nice flowers. I'll even donate some dahlia bulbs next year. I said that last time. It needs to look better that way. The concept is wonderful. It really is. Community gardens, it's so nice to go out in your garden and lean on the shovel and watch your little plants come up and then eat them after they come up, you know. It's a great concept. And I did go up to Milwaukee that time, Newt, when you asked me to go out there. That's quite a setup they have there. It's great. Composting and so forth. So the concept was good. I think we struck out on this one, but it doesn't mean we have to strike out in the future. It's location, location, location. And that's the key. Yeah. Well, please do, because
council know what happened with this. You couldn't be more right, Alderman. The location was simply turned out to be something that sort of set us up to fail. I don't know if the council's aware, but we found out after we'd begun the garden that a water line that we thought was going to be easily hooked up so we could have water to water the beds was partially removed, apparently, when that shed that used to sit on that lot was torn down. And lo and behold, it turned out we had no access to water. So we could only have half the beds that we had contemplated having. We had volunteers filling barrels with water in the early morning, physically taking them down at their own time and expense to the garden so that the beds that were used by kids and other youth groups so they could grow this year. But without water at that site, there is no way to garden it with produce. So the thought is that we would not do that anymore at that site, not being amenable to it. There's talk now about maybe just doing it with native plants or if you wish flowers, something that again looks good, is easily maintained, and look to a better site, a more conducive site for a true community garden maybe next year. That's the goal. It just was one of those things that nobody knew we were walking into almost an impossible situation. That's what happened to us.
May I continue? Thank you, Newton. Sure. But thanks for your concerns trying to make the city more beautiful. Leaf pickup. There's rumors going around we're not going to pick up leaves. I said, I don't know where that came from. Did you want to comment?
Well, I do want to say we are picking up leaves this year. It hasn't started yet, and I would appreciate that each of you make sure that you reach out to your ward and let them know not to start raking the leaves into the street, because we're going to end up with flooding.
Never rake them in the street.
You know, or even to the curb at this point. It's too early because they're going to blow over. They're going to get caught in there. It is coming up in a couple of weeks. David, do you have the date? Who has it? Greg's got it.
I have the official date is going to be October 31st or November 1st, I think is what Tom told me. He sent us a leaf schedule. His plan was to be in each ward, I think, twice. Don't quote me on that, people. They get crazy about this leaf pick. Oh, my God. I've never had so many inquiries about leaf. But I think that was they're going to do it. But he said, let me just make sure the date. I don't want to get this.
It's the 31st.
Is it the 31st, Alderman May? That's what he said at the Public Works Committee meeting, was the 31st, correct? Yes, the first day would be, and it'd be for a month, 10, 11. And every ward will get hit twice, correct? Alderman to best. Start the 31st, every ward will get hit twice. It'll last for a month. That's the initial plan.
Yeah, we're trying to make it as efficient as possible.
Correct.
And I have to admit, Alderman, there's a chance this could be the last year for free leaf pickup. I mean, that's something we're going to have to consider. That whether we bag and we charge, have stickers sold for the bags, these things are going to have to be part of our discussion as we go into our budgeting process, and so we'll have to think about it. Alderman Tempest, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. It's nice to get a little clarity as we go along. Again, with leaf pickup, I've seen a lot of landscapers, they get their blowers going and they blow them out into the street. Now I have to go today and say, I think you better get them back to the curb and pick them up. Huh? Well, they understood when I got done. I wasn't very polite. The next thing I really feel is around Thanksgiving time, the things get snowy, get pretty rough. Near the end there, if you don't get them in bags, we got a contract with BFI to pick up bags of leaves, and it doesn't say how many bags. We need right now, start bagging them. Start bagging them, or put them in containers. Also in our contract, you can put them in a plastic container. I made sure that was in the ordinance. What? The yard waste. The yard waste, with yard waste on it. And it's so much neater, instead of putting them on the curb there, the wind comes and you got to do it over again. So I would encourage everybody to bag them when you can, or put them in a container. You don't have to buy bags that way. One time you buy the container and it's over with, Those bags are about 50 cents each sometimes, Mary. Container is a better deal. Okay.
It's limited.
What?
It's a little more limited with the container.
Yeah, I know, but you get enough of it, you can get the job done. That's all I have, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
Alderman May.
I was going to talk about leaves too, because everyone who knows me knows I'm obsessed with the leaves.
Good combo.
Please, don't put them in the street. Even when it's time, I beg of you, don't put them in the street, because then you're going to be complaining about the storm sewers. I'm going to talk really quickly. I'm very excited about Paint the Town, and I want to recognize some city employees that came and volunteered their time that day. Chief Greathouse, Chief Young, Dave Marion, Tom Haggerty, David Motley, Mayor Sabanjan, and of course I want to mention Violet as well. They were all there all day, making sure we were safe, getting our supplies to us, so thank you very much for taking your personal time to make sure that event went off without a hitch. I also wanted to mention about the United Way. Jennifer is modest. They recently completed a book drive where they, over a course of a few months, they collected 155,000 books to be redistributed through the schools. They do distribute in Round Lake as well as Waukegan, but I've participated for many years with the book distribution, and they did a great job this summer with that book drive. I also want to remind folks, although we have a very exciting Main Street in town, Genesee Street, there are 2 other theaters. Well, Clockwise is on Genesee Street, but there's also the Bowen Park Theater. I really encourage everyone to check out these small theaters. They're very affordable, great way to expand your theater culture. I really encourage everyone to visit Clockwise in Bowen Park. It's an affordable way to see some great local plays. And my last item I have is we passed an authorization tonight, which is going to allow our seawall to be repaired. We have a seawall down in the harbor that's in disrepair at a very high price tag on that repair. And the city was able to negotiate, and with the US EPA, the seawall is going to be repaired, which is going to allow the dredging to continue next year, which is going to leave Waukegan to get taken off the area of concern list, which is going to get us delisted, which is just another phenomenal thing for Waukegan. I just want to bring attention to the fact that this was a great thing that we passed tonight, and it's going to really help us clean up our harbor and the dredging next year. And I'm just want to thank everyone on the council for passing that item tonight. Thank you very much.
Alderman Valco?
Take a pass tonight, sir.
Okay.
Thank you. Take a motion to go in executive session for reasons of pending litigation and settlement of claims from Alderman May, seconded by Alderman Newsom. Roll call, please.
Alderman Rivera, Alderman Cunningham, Alderman Conken, Alderman Moiseo, Alderman Beedling, Alderman Newsom, Alderman Tempest, Alderman May, Alderman Valco.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. We appreciate your... Huh? But others did pop up. And I'm just kind of hesitant to put those out right now, but yeah, it's not good. It went on for a while. Motion to come back into regular session by Alderman Beedling, seconded by Alderman Tempest. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion to adjourn by Alderman Tempest, seconded by Alderman Beedling. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Thanks, everybody.